The Jurassic franchise has had its fair share of featured secretive islands across its 30-year reign. But that doesn't stop there, as we venture deeper into this universe and uncover more unknown secrets about this world. Starting off with Isla Nublar in 1993's Jurassic Park, this was home to both of the theme parks in this universe. But then in 1997, we learnt of a new island called Isla Sorna, not too far away from Isla Nublar. But while Isla Nublar was the home of the parks, Sorna was home for the dinosaurs. This is the island where research took place on developing the dinosaurs for the first park, and it also later housed a sanctuary for dinosaurs here, a site to be, if you may call it. Once the dinosaurs reached full maturity and were ready for Jurassic Park, they were taken from Isla Sorna and placed into their exhibits on Isla Nublar. But fast forward to 2016, where we learn of a new island in the timeline. This one was a lot more secretive than to the other two. Not too much is known about this island in great detail, but it was owned by Manticorp, a ridiculously rich company owned by Japanese oligarch Daniel Kahn. His operations on this island led to them stealing dinosaurs off of both Nublar and Sorna, as well as their own attempt at creating their own hybrid dinosaurs. This was the new home for the Spinosaurus of Jurassic Park 3. After having contacts with Biosyn about creating their mind control chips for them, the shutdown of this island was later authorized by the US government and many assets were seized. But we have a sneaky suspicion that Biosyn acquired these mind chip control technologies, as that is later seen being used in their facilities in Jurassic World Dominion. So that means there are 3 islands with dinosaurs on them. But what about more? Well, that's what Jurassic World Rebirth is set out to identify. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to keep up to date on all of the latest Jurassic World Rebirth news, as well as other content from the franchise. 2025 will be hosting a heap of new content to the franchise, so you're really going to want to stick around. But for now, go grab some snacks and get comfy, as it's time to join me today as we uncover what this new mysterious island is in Jurassic World Rebirth. Throughout the trail of Jurassic World Rebirth, we clearly get acknowledgement that they are travelling to a new island to discover more mysteries about this Jurassic world. But this island isn't what we have seen before in the past. Many people speculated that this could be Isla Sorna, as we have not seen anything from this island in the movies themselves since 2001. Therefore, we have been sat eagerly waiting to return back to this island. But unfortunately, we are going to have to wait just a little bit longer, as it seems like a 4th island with dinosaurs is being introduced via this movie. So what do we know about this island so far? Well, according to Duncan throughout the trailer, they're heading towards Barbados from Suriname. Therefore, we know that it is in the north sector of Suriname, and it's probably in the same direction of Barbados. I did make a graphic kind of explaining where exactly this island should be based off that information from the trailer alone, but it could quite literally be anywhere in the Atlantic Ocean. But what we do know is that it certainly is not in the Pacific Ocean, as the only way to get there is through the Panama Canal, which I highly doubt that they are going to be doing that, since we know that this is a secretive operation. Furthermore, going down through the Drake Passage underneath Argentina, nobody's dumb enough to even try and challenge that. So therefore we know that it is in the Atlantic Ocean. But as I just said there as well, and it's also said in the trailer, this island has governmental patrol around it, which means that the governments know that this island is simply not safe for people to arrive to. Therefore, word has clearly got out that there are in fact dinosaurs surviving on this island alone. But throughout the trailer we also learned that apparently this was the original research facility for the first Jurassic Park. And not only that, but the dinosaurs that reside on this island are said to be the most dangerous of them all, too dangerous to even be part of Jurassic Park. Those quotes right there kind of contradict the canon and lore of the Jurassic franchise, and that's why yesterday's video is very important for you to go ahead and watch, as that theory right there basically proves that this should be more of a modern island than to a previous island, as those quotes seem to be misinformation, as both Zora and Henry have no right to understand this information either. So understandably, they've probably been fed a lie, just like we have been done in the trailer. So we are kind of going with the idea that everything that's on the island actually happened in more modern day and not back in the 1980s. However, if we were to stick with the original idea that this is in fact an old island, what does that mean for the whole grand scheme of things in the timeline? Well, This means, whilst we are technically calling it Site C, it is actually Site A, not Isla Nublar. Isla Sorna was first leased in 1982, and they built multiple research facilities in that year to begin breeding dinosaurs. And just a few years later, in 1985, Isla Nublar was leased for the very first time by John Hammond and InGen. Therefore, if this island was supposedly the very first research facility for the original park, then it has to be in 1981 or before, technically making it Site A. So whilst we do have our speculations that this is going to be called Site C, if we were to go chronologically, this island has to be before Isla Sorna. Now, according to the canonical media of this franchise, the very first prehistoric animal was brought back to life in Tokyo, Japan by Tasuo Technology in 1984. And then, just a couple of years later, the very first dinosaur, Microceratus, was brought back to life in 1986 on Isla Sorna. We even get to see this in Jurassic World Dominion. So when we try to identify exactly when this mysterious island was operated on in the timeline, it gets very tricky. Especially if these dinosaurs that were bred on this mysterious island were simply too dangerous for the original park. That quote alone makes absolutely no sense to me. Since we have established that it typically takes dinosaurs about 3 to 5 years to fully mature in this universe, that means that a lot of these dinosaurs were created in the 1970s. But if that were to be true, then why would they be making dinosaurs so early on for Jurassic Park in the late 1970s? When Isla Nublar wasn't even established, and also that its park alone was scheduled for public opening in 1994. This is about 15 years away, and I guarantee that some of the dinosaurs that they created would not have survived 15 years. Well, you and I both know that the original Jurassic Park wasn't actually supposed to be on Isla Nublar. It was initially planned for San Diego, and that project was not actually cancelled until 1985. Which is the same year that John Hammond and InGen leased Isla Nublar from the Costa Rican government. So the only way to explain that this research facility on this mysterious island in the late 70s was for the original Jurassic Park is that the original Jurassic Park they are talking about is San Diego's Jurassic Park. But then again, there was no scheduled opening for that park either. Maybe it was 1990, maybe it was 1987, who knows. That would actually be a lot more believable than to the Jurassic Park on Isla Nublar. However, that just makes another problem. How are they supposed to transfer dinosaurs from this island in the Atlantic Ocean all the way to San Diego, which is on the coast of the Pacific Ocean, without going through the Panama Canal or even the Drake Passage underneath Argentina? I'm pretty sure some helicopters in the 1980s weren't strong enough. The island is also way too small to have planes there as well, and even boats need to be signed off by governments about what's being shipped across borders. Therefore, it's a very tricky situation to try to explain in this timeline. So overall, this island should be before 1982, and the dinosaurs on the island have to have been born before the year of 1981. But it doesn't even stop at 1981. That year is just merely based off Dr. Wu's accelerated growth rates, which we know he wasn't signed on to the project until 1982. So unless there was another scientist who found out a way to accelerate the growth rate of these dinosaurs before Dr. Wu, I'm fairly certain that in the early 70s these dinosaurs should have been bred and born. So either way, it doesn't quite match up to the known timeline we have in this universe. Perhaps these creatures weren't being reported to the public, but that still doesn't explain their early creation and being before Isla Sorna. But I have another theory of that coming out very soon, which you won't want to miss. So make sure you stick around here on the channel, as tonight we're expecting some new footage and a new trailer from the Super Bowl for Jurassic World Rebirth. Make sure you're subscribed and press the bell icon so that you don't miss an upload. Feel free to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. But most importantly, make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.